Success Series. This is our number 2. This is our second speaker for the semester. So as we get started, please make sure that you all fill out a sign-in sheet towards the back. Please print your name. Also, at the very end, we have a survey, okay? Real quickly, we had midterms last week. How did midterms go? Pretty good, decent, all right. Also, you all should have got a few emails from your mentors, right? Real quick, the mentors who are here, please put your hand up. Mentors, if you're here, okay? Thanks for coming out, Coach. We also have Dr. Linda Logan. A few of them should be coming shortly. But please check your email next week from a communication from your mentors. Just to check on you, make sure things are going good. All right? So for me, thank you all for coming out. Real quickly, our Olivet College Compact. Can somebody tell me one of the principles of the compact? Get a degree? I like that idea, but can somebody give me one principle of the compact?
You should be going over it in your self-community class.
Right. You got to guess.
Respect others. I'm responsible for other people's learning.
Yes, they say it one more time.
I'm responsible for other people's learning.
All right, so for you, you get $5 for knowing the compact.
Oh, man.
All right, let's get up. The reason why I'm talking about that because we operate within the compact. I'm responsible for my own learning and development. And your second one was what?
Somebody else knows me. I'm not gonna lie.
I am responsible for contributing to the learning of others, right?
Yes, sir.
Number 5, I am responsible for treating all people with respect. We have 7 compact principles, so it is important that we always remember this is what we stand for. This is our collective agreement. This goes back to our mission and vision. So as we get started tonight, I'm excited to hear this great speaker who's going to talk about the possibilities, about it's possible, but also remember too, as you continue to take your finals in the next 6 weeks, right? Keep the compact in mind, and also know that it's possible for you guys to achieve your dreams. So, without further ado, again, please make sure everybody signs in. Also fill out a survey, and please expect more communication from your mentor. If your mentors have not contacted you, please let Larry, Ryan, or myself know. All right? So we want to make sure that you are feeling supported and feeling connected. All right, now that's my promo. Next, we give it to Larry Smith. Give it to the speaker.
So thank you guys. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate your time. I want to say Karl Beret, but he's Coach Beret to me. He was my defensive coordinator up in '93 when I went to Michigan Tech. Karl and I have been friends for close to 25 years. Karl is the first guy to show me how to use the internet. Started his own internet business. Karl is presently the sales representative for Horning Floor. With Horning Floor, they do the NBA and NCAA floors for basketball. He also has 2 online businesses that he's working with now, international businesses. He also has a degree in economics. Karl is a well-traveled person. He just told me he got tickets. He's going to take his family over to China in March. So I'm going to give the floor to Karl here in a few minutes, but this is a person that you want to listen to. He has a very good message for you guys, and it's all about what you want to do. He's going to give it to you. So everybody, give Mr. Karl Beret a hand.
Thanks, Jason, for inviting me down, and I appreciate all of you attending. I know you're busy, and but I really give you guys. I really appreciate you showing up. First, it'd be pretty informal, So I'm more than happy to answer any questions when we're done about myself or about some ideas or things like that. And I want you to know. There's nowhere other than being with my family right now than I'd rather be here talking to you guys. I really think, people say, I appreciate your time. No, people make the mistake of saying time is money. Time is not money. Time is everything. And you guys are young. You don't realize that. But as you roll on, you will. So for you to share your time with me and for us to exchange some stuff, I really appreciate it. And the program that Josh has set up and Larry is involved with, and to try to get you guys to see different things is really important. And I was fortunate enough that through sports, I ended up living in another country for 4 years. And when I did that, I got put in a place where it was a completely different culture, and there was a lot of different cultures there. And it really woke me up to the idea that there are a lot of people with different points of view, and you can glean something from everyone you meet. And everybody has something that can share and you can share with. And I think that's really important, that you know that this is really an awesome thing. And it really will value, as you get older, you will find it has even more and more value. Now I know I'm the second speaker, and you're going to have more speakers, but I have been exposed to a lot of different people. And I would say, as listeners, I would suggest these two things. And do it with me, do it with everyone you talk to. All right? The first thing is, be a student, not a follower. And by that I mean, when someone tells you something, they don't have the silver bullet. They do not have the key to how it all works. Because if they did, then they would be doing that. So you listen to people. You take in as much information from all the people, as many people that will give you information, but then you come back and you disseminate it, you look at it, you roll it around, you say, does this make sense, does this not make sense? Because you want to become very good students in life, learning from a lot of different people. The other thing you want to do is make sure, when you're listening to people, there's a difference between sincerity and truth. I can be sincere today, and I can be sincerely wrong. But just because I care a lot, just because I'm sincere, doesn't make me right. So when you listen to someone, and they talk to you, no matter how sincere they are, hear them for who they are, but always check the information they're telling you. Is it true? Because anyone that's really into what they're into is going to be passionate toward it, and they're going to sound sincere. So always check your facts, all right? Those are the two things that I think that, as from a listening standpoint, that I think you should really think about as you go through this series. Now, with that being said, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I may look different than you, obviously with this suit on, but I was you. I came from a very nondescript mill town in the middle of Wisconsin. I had I had a brother and two sisters. My dad worked in the mill. I'm going to walk around here because I'm going to be stagnant standing here like this. My dad worked in the mill. I shared a room with my brother. My sister shared rooms the whole way all through our house. Nobody went to college where I went. Not that we never wanted for everything, but we didn't have much. My mother made all of our clothes. That's just how it was. And it was wonderful, but with the concept of going to college wasn't something that I was really into. And I was joking with Coach Smith, that I didn't even think about college, really, until I don't know about, my background was this. When I was real young, I was with the good kids. Then I got older, I went to the other side of the track. Then I went back to the other side of the track. Then I was riding the track because I was mean enough, or whatever you want to say, to be with the not so good guys, and I was nice enough that I would be with the good guys. So I was right on the fringe. And what happened in my junior year, I happened to be hanging with the good guys, and he said, "Do you want to go see my sister in college?" I'd never been to college anywhere. I said, "It's his older sister." I said, "Yeah, I'll go." Well, I got to college, and I looked around, and I said, "Man, I want to go to college." And so, sure enough, I kind of stumbled into college. I got had a little decent sports career, and I stumbled into college. And when I was in college, I got into sports. I went because of sport, really. Like maybe some of you, I really went to play football. And when I was there, I started realizing there was some academics and so forth, and I kind of got through. And from there, I ended up playing after I got out of college. When I actually got out, I had a degree, and I took another degree because the one degree had a really hard GPA, so I took another one, kind of balanced it out. But I got out, and I got into coaching. I was talking to a guy today, one of the guys, saying, I don't remember which guy was saying, he was thinking about getting into coaching, and I got into coaching. But I've kind of bounced back and forth between business and coaching. Back and forth. And fortunately, all my life I've done that. Looking back on it, it worked very well for me. But what happened was, Coach Smith was one of the guys I was lucky enough to work with, is that I started looking in sport and say, well, which guys, which coaches, which teams are winning on a consistent basis? And then which ones kind of aren't? And then it's the same thing in business. You start looking, you go, well, which companies, which guys are successful and which ones aren't? And then you start looking at it, and I, as a coach, we started saying, well, I want to get the best, like you look at like an offense. Let's just say our offense, and you're going to build an offense, right? Say, I'm going to create my own offense. So I was a coach, I was going to create my own defense. So what did I do? I went to go meet guys, say, Coach Zook, who's at Florida now, he's a special teams coach for the Packers. Or Coach Rosberg, who's down with the Ravens. Coach, at Michigan right now. But basically, you get everybody. You take all these good ideas and you put them together and you make them your own. You guys should be, this term, right? If you write a paper, right, and you go and you take it right off the internet, and you put it in the paper, and you put it in your paper and you hand it in, what are they going to say? They're going to say that's plagiarism. But if you're like the soon-to-be doctor in the back, he's going to take information from a bunch of places, put it together. What are they going to call that? They're going to say research. Exactly. So that's the difference, right? And what I'm saying is that I started doing that with people, and I started looking at it. And so what I'd like to do in this little talk tonight is kind of show you, kind of from a coaching perspective, what are some things, one, that you can do as you go forward that'll maybe save you some steps by watching people that are doing it right. And then what are some things that if you are aware on the front end, you won't make the same mistake maybe that I made or somebody else made. Okay? That's kind of the plan. So the first thing I think that, and most importantly why we're here tonight is you have to realize it's all possible for you. I mean, literally anything is possible for you. And in order to do that, you have to kind of check your stuff at the door. When we walk in, what I'd like you to do is not think about that you're going to, maybe be a rocket scientist or do this or make $1 million. I'm just talking about something in your mind that you've thought about at some point in time. It doesn't have to be about sport. It doesn't have to be, it's just something that you thought in your mind, I think I might want to do that. I might want to be, we talked about Damon Davis. He was one of he got to play for us. He ended up becoming a real big DJ in Detroit. Everybody has their thing. And my thing tonight is to say, what is something, I want you just to take something out that you thought about in the past and think, and you thought, your mind said, no, I can never do that. And culture said, oh, you can never do that. And realize that that's not true. You can do it all. So check everything at the door right now. Check, and I mean by checking, leave it at the door. What the culture's saying. Leave it at the door as far as what the newspapers are saying. Leave everything at the door. And come with me mentally, just for the next half an hour, 40 minutes, and think like this. Just change your thinking, okay? And relax, and just believe it's possible. Because, let's just start, all right? All right, so, it's hard to imagine. People don't want you to think. I really think that people go out of their way to try to get you guys not to think. But the reality, that light right there, that light was created by somebody. Somebody in their imagination through either desperation or creativity, created the light. They created the glass. They created the chair. They created your shirt, LSU logo. Everything outside of this was created by someone. It was created because they started out with imagination. In their mind, thoughts are things. Somebody imagined it. And then they put it into action, and that became something. And so anything you can think of, anything, is possible. And I was joking with my wife, talking to her about this. And I said, well, I'm going to tell the guys that obviously I'm not going to the Olympics, right? I can say I'm going to go to the Olympics. I'm not going to the Olympics anymore. But you know what? There's probably somewhere where I could get into some like old people Olympics. And you think, well, now you're stupid. You couldn't really do that. There was actually, and you can look this up, as I said earlier, there's a lady who was living in Berkeley, California, in San Francisco. She wanted to get in the Olympics so bad, couldn't do anything to qualify. She went, had friends in Hungary, went to Hungary, got so that she was part of the half-pipe skiing team. There were many skiers better than her, but each country only gets 4. To make long story short, she was in the Olympics. Simply because she focused on being in the Olympics, she looked at the angles, and she figured out a way. And Einstein, everyone familiar with the guy, right? Kind of a big hitter. Intellectually, his thing, he said, intelligence isn't knowledge. Knowledge and innovation is intelligence. Knowledge and innovation. And innovation is creation. It's being able to see what's around you. You look at the big hitters right now, financially, and I'm not saying it's just finances, but it's easy. Everybody can do the math. All right? Why is Zuckerberg so rich with Facebook? Knowledge, innovation. It was right there for everybody to do. He did it. Look at Google. Look at Amazon. It was a combination of knowledge and innovation, and it's imagination. It's imagination. So whatever you think about is doable for you. It was doable for me. It's doable for you. Anyone else that can do it, you can do it. So now I'm sure in your mind, some of you guys are saying to me, but you don't know my environment. You think you're like me, Karl, but you're not like me, because I have this, and I have that, and I have this, and I have all these things against me. Be it for my family, or my socioeconomics, or whatever one you want to choose. Larry and I talk about it. We all got that. So in order to think about it differently, think about this. Think about, the saying is this. Max Planck, he's an astrophysicist, one of the first guys to really talk about splitting the atom literally. He said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Right? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it doesn't sound like much, but it's like this. You want to get real? Right? This right here, right? This looks like a hard table. That's all that is a hard table, right? But if we got a microscope out, we put a microscope on there, we'd see there's little things crawling on that table. And if we drill down even farther with an electronic microscope, we'd see that there's actually, this is made up of molecules. Molecules are made up of atoms. Atoms are made up of electrons. Quarks. We look at it farther and farther and farther. So when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. What I'm saying is, instead of looking at it like, it's not for me, I could never do that, I'm saying, change how you're looking at your life. Right? So let's do this. Let's just say right now, what would anyone, this rhetorical question, I want you to answer this out loud, right? This is for your heart. If someone came up to you and said, I will give you $200 million right now for your legs. $200 million. You'll never have to have another penny. You'll have everything given to you. But of course, you're going to have to give up your legs. You can't walk anymore. You won't be able to go into a football game. You won't be able to even go to one unless you go. You have to have help everywhere you go, right? Or let's say your hearing. For a couple hundred, you won't be able to listen to music anymore, though. You won't be able to have your loved ones talk to you. But I'll give you the $200 million. Or sense of touch. You'll never feel a loved one touch you. You'll never have the feeling of when you touch them. But I'll give you $200 million. Right? So really, you're quite wealthy in what you have. You're very wealthy. Because you got many, 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 many oodles of things that people would be dying to get, that we can't even give you. You're wealthy where you are. Now think of it another way. Where are you? Right now, where are we? We're in the middle of a university. There is information everywhere. You can reach out tonight to professors, to your TAs. You can get the information you want and need right now. This is acres of diamonds. You are in the place to do whatever it is you want to do because you can reach out to them. Look at it another way. Look at the time you're born in. This is truly the golden age of education. There was a time, man, let's be honest, there was a time when you might not get the information. Just like my boss. There was a time when my boss would only tell me what I need to know. And I would work for my boss. And he would tell me what I need to know, and that's all the information I got. Because he was management, I was a worker. That's it. That time is gone now. He can't stop me. I can go and learn my own information. You guys are in the golden age of education. Right now, on the internet, Larry and I were talking about it this morning, right? Every minute, there's 300 hours of video being put on YouTube. 300 hours every minute. There is no excuse for, I don't know how to do it. I can't do it. This is the time. In any time in the world, this is the time. This is why entrepreneurism is booming. This is why you can, tonight, you know, I keep looking right at you, but I'm sorry, but the reality of it is, or you, tonight, right now, you can decide, I'm going to start a company, and by 10 o'clock tonight, I'm going to have a website up, I'm going to go on GoDaddy, it costs $9 to buy the domain name, and I'm going to go over it on a Wix site, and I'm going to build a website for free, and my business can be up and running, and I'm going to be able to take credit cards. It doesn't cost nothing. You can do that right now. So, you're wealthy. You're standing in acres of diamonds. You're in the educational golden age. And the thing that people really don't tell you enough, I believe, and I believe it's for all of us, and I have to tell myself, and Larry and I talk about it all the time, you got to tell yourself, is you have freedom of choice. You have freedom of choice as the human entity. You can do what you want. There's no other species that can do this. And it doesn't matter your skin color, none of that matters. Because we're all the same. This is nothing. This part of the pigment is nothing. We're all the same. And to give you an example, what I'm saying is that there's only one species that can fly or go to back, like similar to us, that can go to a particular spot. My great uncle Al, who's now since passed, when I was a young kid, about your age, he used to race pigeons. And if anybody you've done, it's an old art form. But what they would do is they would take a homing pigeon and they would put it in their car. And they would drive, I live in Wisconsin, they would drive to Iowa, him and another guy, and they would let the pigeon, they would drive there, they would open up in the back of the trunk, and they would let the pigeon out. The pigeon's the only homing pigeon, only animal outside of us that can go somewhere. The pigeon would go out, still to this day, it'll make 2 large circles, and it'll fly back to its house, no matter where it is. It can use the globe, the magnetism of the globe, and it'll fly right back to its where it started from, destination, and they can measure the time. And that's how they raise pigeons. You think every other animal and every other species is purely instinct. The geese got to fly south in the summer. In the winter, they come north. All the birds do. All of that. It's all instinct, except man. Man is the only one, you are the only ones that can predetermine your destination and go there. And it all starts with your mind. Think, 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 think. What is it that makes you who you are? What do you want to accomplish? What is it in your mind that you want to do? Because you can go there, and you will go there, if you just think about it. Right? So, just to refresh, you have your imagination, right? Anything is possible. You're highly favored, very wealthy. You're in the golden age. You're on a university campus where you get all the information you need, and you have freedom of choice to go everywhere you want. Okay? So you're sitting in the catbird seat, literally. Now, I could give you that line, and then say, "Oh, speech is over," and then there you go. But I don't think that's the sort of thing that helps people get things done. So, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to talk to you about. I'm going to prove it to you tonight that what we talk about next is going to work. I'm going to give you a roadmap on how to get it done. And this isn't my roadmap. This is a lot of different people's roadmaps put together. All right? There's three ways of looking at it that you need to do in order to get what you want. First, you have to think. You have to sit down. Pascal, French philosopher, said all of man's worries can be solved in a room if he sits down by himself. Doesn't need to sit down. All you need is walk in a room. Think by yourself. Think. What do I want? What do I want? What do I really want? Not just finances. What do I want? What kind of man do I want to be? What kind of life do I want? What kind of spouse one day do I want? How do I want people to look at me? Where do I want to go with my life? What do I want to add? What will be different when I'm gone? That kind of thinking. And I think when you do that, it's very important to think, be a creator, not a competitor, not a competing. It's not a competition. It's not a competition. And it's very hard not to remember that in this world. But it's not a competition. It's not who has the nice shirt on versus the other shirt. Or this guy makes this much and this guy makes this much. Because we can all be successful because we're all different. We all want to have our own, we all want what we want. So you need to create. What is it that you want? Be creators. They say that the saying is competition brings out the best in products and the worst in people. What do you want? Create in your mind. Where do you want to go? And start to visualize that in your mind. What do you want? I said to Larry that this year, Larry mentioned, I work for Horner Flooring on a day job. We sell the Pistons, their floor. We sell the Bulls, their floor. Timberwolves, Mavericks, right through and through. And so I was at Summer League, and I had an opportunity this summer, or was it last summer? Last summer, to meet James Harden, Chris Paul. And it was right after, the day after James Harden had just signed his big contract. And they both had T-shirts on. That's it. Those had white T-shirts on. I met them, they're great guys. We didn't talk about no money. We talked about how are they going to beat him? How are they going to win? And I watched them for about the next 2 or 3 days. And every time I saw them, they were like this. Like if they were sitting together, he's Chris Paul and I'm Harden. Because the whole time, they were getting in their mind, what's the vision of the Houston Rockets? They were not trying to be Golden State. They were trying to be a first-class vision of the Houston Rockets. What I'm saying to you guys, don't be a second-class version of somebody else. Be a first-class version of who you are. What do you want? What makes you who you are? Okay? That's number one. Now, I think everybody in their mind, everybody has, when you go to do that, and these guys had it too, and it doesn't matter if it's business or if it's at a personal level, it's sport. And if any coaches were here, Larry would tell you, any coach would tell you, coach, that when you're going to start a process, right? When you're going to start, you can say, okay, we're going to start today. We're going to make something different happen, right? What you have to do is you have to evaluate your assets, right? You got to look at, what do we got? What do we got? So if you walk into a football program, walk in, you say, okay, what do we got for a weight room? What do we got for a field? What do we got for academics? How can we draw in good players? What can we do? What conference are we in? What can we do, right? To get a team going. What are our assets? Well, as an individual, it's the same. As an individual, you basically look at it like this. You have 3 counselors in your mind. And we all do. They're built in. The first counselor is you have the ability to examine your scripts. The second counselor is you have imagination. You can decide what you want. And the third counselor is you have freedom of choice. So it really comes down to, people say, well, get your goals as easy as ABC. No, it's not. It's hard work. But instead of saying ABC, it's CBA. It's conceive it, believe it, and achieve it. So let's go back to the 3 counselors. The first one, you can examine your scripts. Think about it. You can all examine your scripts. You can look back. First off, I say this. Stand up, everybody. Stand up. Get up. Stand up. Stand up. Come on, pop at it. Come on. Be alive. Be alive. All right, kids, start clapping. Give yourself a hand. You made it here. You made it right here. You made it here. Sit down. Sit down. You made it here. You already made it here. No, I mean, that's a big deal. Because when you look at your scripts, what people tend to do, and we all do it, is we beat ourselves up and we say, well, I like me, I didn't do good in high school, and I didn't really try hard, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do that. But you forget the good things you did. And by hook or by crook, you're here. You're here. You're here. You made it here. So look at it. Sit down with a pencil and paper, and this is something else that all the champions do. They think on paper, right? And if you think I'm not making any sense, have any of you watched a football game lately? These guys got charts this long. They got everything written down because they're thinking on paper. And you want to think on paper. So you want to sit down and write down, hey, I did this. I'm a pretty good brother. Well, I was good to my mom, and add it all up. And the reason you do that, and the reason I'd say to coaching staff you do that, is because you get the knowledge so that then you can invest the past into the future. You can invest it in your future so that, 1, you won't make the same mistakes because you've analyzed it, but 2, you know what makes you tick. It's very important. Have you sat down and thought, and it's rhetorical, I'm not saying, but have you really thought, and I know I didn't, that's what I'm telling you. I didn't know what made me tick. I didn't know what got me jazzed up. When I went in the ditch. What things put me in the ditch? What things helped me up on the road? What got me out of the ditch? Understanding that's ginormous to your success. So, write it down on paper, go through it and think, hey, look at it, examine your scripts. Now we go to the next thing. Imagination. What do you want? Some of you you're all in different places in your life. Some of you might want to really you might be coming up on your senior year, you might be a young coach. And your vision of what you want is up here, and you've done some things already, so you've got a pretty good confidence level going, figuring that you can get more stuff done. Some of you might not. Some of you might be, this is your first time, really, you're in college, and I don't even know if I'm going to pass. So decide what's important to you. And then the last thing, of course, again, is freedom of choice. You are special. You are a human being that can decide. And the clearer you can make that imagined image, right? Because thoughts are things. You like right now, there's not picking on you, I'm just saying, right? You're itching here, right? Right? Yeah, and it's just like guy rubbing his beard, right? Why is he doing it? And because he thought, in your mind, you thought that, and the thought set the message down in your hand, and your hand did it. Everything is like that. It's that thought process. So what you want to do is when you get your thing, whatever your thing is, let's say it's, theoretically, I'll take a thing so I don't pick it on people, right? Let's say that I want to be, let's say I want to be a speaker, right? Let's say I want to be a speaker. So what's going to happen if I start looking at that and really start focusing on that as that's my goal? What'll happen is it's called the reticular activating system, meaning that in your mind you're going to start seeing things like I will start seeing things that other speakers are doing. Or I'll walk out, I'm walking out of a restaurant or a bar, and it'll be a speaker for something, where I normally wouldn't do that. Because, though, I'm focused so much on speaking, I will stop and read the poster. You'll start doing that if you start focusing on it. And the example I'll use, because you guys are, a lot of you are football players, right? I'll look at it like this, okay? Theoretically, I want to be a defensive end. I want to sack the quarterback, right? I think I want to be a defensive end, I want to sack the quarterback. That's not enough. You got to define it even more. You got to think, I want to be a defensive end, I want to sack the quarterback with a speed rush. I want to be a defensive end, I want to set it up at a speed rush, but I want to work the guy upfield always. I'm going to work his outside hand. And then when you're thinking like that, and you got that going on, and you want to be that guy, I'll guarantee you, when you are watching the guy from the Bears, you're going to look at him in a different way. You're going to say, how could I just steal a little bit from that guy? How could I just glean a little bit? And that little bit extra will define it for you, and it'll just not be him. It'll be other things. And you'll start looking at things. You might go on YouTube. If you're really into it, you might go on YouTube and look at drills. Maybe do a drill. Maybe do something special. That's what the reticular activating system will do for you if you focus on what you want enough. And it doesn't matter, right? You can look at it like if you, a typical example people use is that you buy a car. You know, and a guy goes to the car lot, he sees this blue car, it's a cool blue car, let's just say it's an Impala, and it's the only blue car on the lot like that. He says, man, I want that blue car because it's the only blue car on the lot. And he buys the blue car, and in the next 3 weeks, he's driving around town, he sees these blue cars everywhere. And there were a whole bunch of them. But he never realized and never saw the blue car until he had a blue car. It was on his subconscious, then he saw the blue cars. So my point is when you go to define what you want, right, as clear as you can make it, the better chance you have of getting there. Define it with your mind. Define it, refine it, refine it, refine it, refine it. The more you can refine it, the better and the faster you're going to get there. Okay? So, and again, think on paper. Think on paper. Write it down. Why do you write it down? Again, it's rhetorical. You might know, you might not. The reality of it is the more senses you can involve in the learning process, the more your attention level goes up. So they don't make you write stuff down in class because they just want to be a pain in your back. They make you write it down because if you write it down, right, it's another layered thing in your brain, another reason you're going to remember it. Now, if you can write it down and you can do something physically to remember, like I have a karate teacher, right? So I can say, Jodan, right? High rise and block. So if I can do that and I write it down, all those things will layer it. So in sport, if you can put a tag, coach, if you can put a tag on it for the guy, so he not only writes it down, he's got a word for it, the lexicon of sport, you're going to remember it even better. So you want to really define it. Really define what you want. And don't be afraid of it. Write it down. Okay? And define it. What exactly is it that you want for you? All right? So that's the first one, conceive it. Now, believe it. How do you really think, I really believe it? Karl, you're full of shit. Excuse my language. But you can think that. I don't care. I know this works. And I'll tell you, the reason you can believe it is this. Anything you want to do, anything, you can learn. Every business skill is a learned skill. Everything is. So there's nothing you can't learn. The reality of it is, there are no doctors born. There are no lawyers born. There are no professional basketball players born. There are no All-Americans born. They are made by choice. That's how you become that. So anything anybody else has done, that I've done, that he's done, you all can do. It's just a matter of, do you want to do it or not? Do you want to take ownership and get it done? How bad do you want it? And is this what you want? That's ginormous to think of that. And I'll give you another football analogy, right? I played defensive back, right? I was a crappy athlete. I'll just tell you, I wasn't a good athlete, right? You could slide, they could almost slide a piece of paper under my vertical. It was so bad, right? But I had a really good coach. And he taught me how to backward run, which is not a normal skill set. We don't get taught how to backward run as little kids. Nobody backward runs, right? But the coach I had was really good. He was a professional coach. And he taught me how to backward run. And by learning how to grab the rope and sit down, even at my old age, I can do it. That allowed me to play. And then I studied the films, and that gave me a skill that allowed me to play in the game. To play and compete in the game. That's how all the business skills are for you. And all the other skills out there. If you want more, learn the skills that allow you to win in that arena. Because they're there. And you can. Anything that anybody else has done, you can do. You have to start getting that in your mind. If you haven't, that is reality. Okay? The next thing that in belief is 90% of getting stuff done is showing up. It's showing up. It's going there. It's batting average. It's doing it again and again and again and again. Today, perfect example. Perfect example. And I won't get anybody in trouble with it. But I will say this. It's raining out. Right? It's raining out. Did you guys say, well, it's raining out, Coach. Sorry, can't go today. Raining out. No, you didn't even think it. That wasn't even in your mind. But I also know there's people that aren't here tonight. Rain got them. The rain got them. They couldn't make it because it was raining. They won't tell you that, but that's really what it was. My point is this. You be tough. You show up. You show up. You show up. With the tenacity every day, every day, every day, every day. That in and of itself would put you on path. All right? The next one is this. Only quality people. Only quality people. Put yourself around only quality people. If people cannot see success for themselves, they won't see it for you. If they can't see themselves being successful, they will not see it for you. However, if they can see success for them, they will see it for you. Only quality people. Put yourself around people that stretch you, that make you grow, that question you, that question what you're doing. You don't want to have those people all patting you on the back. You want people around you that will challenge you. Is that as good as it gets for you? Those are hard questions. You've got to have good friends to say that to you. I got some friends, they just tear me up. I get pissed off at them. I come back a couple weeks later, hey, how you doing? I'm great. Give them a hug. Because I know it. I need to hear it. The other thing is this. You'll be no different right now, and this goes to people. It's that same kind of concept, because I say only quality people because they are going to put stuff in your mind. So you really have to guard your mind by the people around you. You have to guard your mind to the news. You know, you have to guard your mind. You have to guard your mind to the people around you that are telling you things that are not true. It's their feelings, it's their vision, but it's not yours. And you don't have to accept it. Now, going on with people, 5 years from now, you'll be no different in your thinking than you are right now. There's a guy called Charles Tremendous Jones. And he says, you will be no different in 5 years from now than you are right now, except for the people you meet, the books you read, and he's since dead, but the digital stuff you watch. the music you listen to. You'll be no different. So you have to think, and these are rhetorical questions, outside of the classroom, what are you doing to broaden your mind? What are you doing to broaden your mind? Outside the classroom. That's the question. Think, what are you looking at? What are you reading? What people are you associating with yourself? It's very, very important. If you will be careful, guard your mind. All right? Guard your mind. It's very important. It is the cherished jewel. And what goes in matters. The last, or not the last, but close to the last thing about belief is that it's going to be hard. I mean, it's going to be hard. Getting what you want, driving to the goal, is going to be hard. You guys have a little bit of it with football, but it's going to be hard. You're going to continuously have challenges. And again and again, you're going to be put in situations where it looks like you're almost there and you're not quite there yet. And like I said to Larry, basically, if you're working really hard and it seems like you're again standing in manure, knee deep, and it reeks, and it's happening, and you're struggling, that is the fertilizer that will grow, that makes you stronger. You think about it. I talked to one of your coaches today. I'll bet you 5 years from now, I'd put a $100 bill right here on the table and say that unless you didn't actually score the touchdown, the second last touchdown when you guys beat Finlandia, 72 to whatever the heck it was, 5 years from now, no one's going to know who scored that touchdown, the second last touchdown of that game. Right? But this weekend, when you come back in the fourth quarter, when you're down by 10, and you get the touchdown, and you're driving down, and you get the next touchdown, at the last second you win the game, 5 years from now, everyone will remember that person's name, and they will remember the play. And it's the same thing when you're in a belief of, I got to get there. It's going to be hard. Anything worth having in life is hard. That's just part of the process. So be ready for it. Don't be surprised by it. Realize it comes for all of us. As far as, and the crisis, right, Larry? The crisis. Say, well, I'm in a crisis. Well, you know what? You're always going to be in a crisis. You're going to either be coming out of a crisis or you're going to be going into a crisis. That is life. That's how it works. So again, just be aware of it. It's just like you guys probably practice. I don't know if you practice. We used to practice sudden change. Practice sudden change? Right. Practicing sudden change, right? What are you doing? You're practicing getting stuck in the shit. Something happened. Guy turned the ball over, quick fumble, short field. We got to run back out there. What are you doing? You're just practicing because you know it's going to come for you. You know those things are coming. And what I'm telling you in advance is they're coming for you as well. But know it in advance. Don't be shocked when it happens. Realize it's part of the process. All right? And then the last part, so that's belief. And I would say this too, and I just want to reaffirm this about the only quality people thing, is that it really amplifies it, because it's so crucial, is you have a little baby. Anybody guys see little babies? Probably not, maybe. You might have little kids in your family, or right, you got these little babies, they're about this big, right, when they come out, and they're just trying to walk around. And you see the baby, and the baby falls down, trying to walk. Baby walks from here to the thing and falls down. Everyone says, oh, I think, you know, little Johnny or Bobby, if you give it, go, stand him up again. And they do it, they keep doing it. But nobody gets up and says, ah, shit, kid's never going to walk. You know? No, you don't do that. Because everyone believes the kid's going to walk. Because you all know he's going to walk. And the little kid knows he's going to walk. And he never looks at anyone that looks at him and goes, oh, sit down, Bobby, you're done. You know? He's going to walk. So it's that crucial. You don't think about it, but that's really the gravity of the people that you have around you. It's extremely important. So really guard your minds. Realize this is your game. It's your game. You set the rules. All right? Now the last part, we had conceive it, believe it, now achieve it. And achieve it is action. Right? It's action. How do you get stuff done? Really, that's the core to getting anything done in achievement is action. The first one, the most challenging one, I think, for me, and I think for many people, is procrastination. Anybody here procrastinate? The night before a test? Anybody procrastinate? I'm a professional. Like I said, I'm a professional procrastinator. If you follow me around, you will actually think I'm getting things done while I'm procrastinating. You would not even know. I'm a pro, right? So we all procrastinate. But so what you can do, one of the main things you can do, and again, this is sport fits so well in here, is if you're in a position where you're procrastinating, you're feeling that, which we all are, is create a ritual. Create a ritual. The concept is this, right? First you make your habits, then your habits make you. That's how it works. And we do it without even realizing it. But the best example I can give you is, well, there's a few, but the main one is LeBron James. Think about the ritual he has created in his mind. Or any great center, or anybody who's winning the game now. Because with 2 seconds to go, they get fouled, they go to the line, the crowd's going nuts, the people are in the back, bamming the things. Does he think, am I going to make it? Am I not going to make it? No, he doesn't even think that. He goes on autopilot. He stands there and catches the ball. He catches the ball, he dribbles it 3 times, just like he always practices, turns the ball a few times, and shoots it. It blocks out all the noise. The crowd, everything around him. He hears none of it. Because he's established this ritual, which allows him to walk through all the noise and execute. And that's what you need to do. You need to, in your own life, take a few things, something where you're getting that roadblock, and establish a ritual. What is it? When you get out of bed in the morning? I know for me, when I get up, I refuse to listen to the news. I will not listen to the news. And this is an I picked up. Listen, everyone say this, everyone too. Think of the name of Les Brown. Anybody heard of Les Brown here? Right. Well, listen to Les Brown. He'll tell you, he does too. It's not like I'm stealing this stuff from myself. But the reality of it is you want to guard your mind early in the morning. Get after it. For me, let's just say I don't listen to the news. I say, here's my list. I make a list, and I start from there. Do I get everything done on the list? No. But I get a plan. And what you want to do is create a ritual for you, whatever that is. You guys are in college, you might be, hey, I get out there at 11, 4, whatever. But you want to create a ritual so that you can go through procrastination. That's a huge one. If you're butting up against procrastination, form a ritual. And it be your ritual. It doesn't really matter what it is. And make sure after you do it, and you do it once and it works, pat yourself on the back. Because that'll help you, right? We all like that, even when we do it ourselves. You'll do it again. You're more likely to do it again. Because you want to keep doing it, right? I mean, that's what you want to do. You want to keep doing it. If it works, you want to keep doing it. The second one is why people don't do stuff. Fear of failure, right? Fear of failure. Well, I'll look bad in front of my friends. If I try to do that, if I tell my parents, I'm going to try to do this, and then I don't, or I tell my friends, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to do this, and I don't succeed, then what? But the problem is that we look at failure the wrong way. Look at it like this. Spin it around. Who's the smartest guy in the room? Smartest guy, you? The smartest guy in the room is generally, it's rhetorical, but generally the smartest guy in the room is the guy that's failed the most. Because he's done the most. It's not about if you're right or if you're wrong. It's the information. Because when you do something, and the coaches have the hardest time, when you win a game or lose a game, in reality, it's not if you won or lost. The crowd cares, the alumni care, the school cares, the people care, but the coach looks at it as it's just an outcome. If you look at baseball players, right? You're a professional baseball player. If you hit the ball in the playing field 3 out of 10 times on a consistent basis, you are making about $30 million a year. $20 to $30 million a year. 3 out of 10. Right? If you look at Tom Brady, great game, completes 75% of his passes. That's as good as it gets. Most of the time it won't be. If you're on the defensive side of the ball, and you can stop the offense 50% of the time on third down, that's not bad. You can live with that. 33% is even better. It's a numbers game. You want to run to your failures. It doesn't matter. It's just an outcome. So when you feel like that, like I have to win every time, I have to be right every time, you don't need to be. You don't need to be. All you need to do is keep going. Keep going. All right? So that's like a huge one. The other one is fear of success. And they're a coin, two sides of the same coin. Fear of success is, well, what happens if I do it? And then what? What happens if I actually do it, and now I have a degree, and now I'm going on, and I have to leave some of my friends because they're not doing it. They're not coming with me, and I'm growing. And that's scary, leaving your comfort zone, because you're going to have to grow. What you have to do is understand that as you grow, you will be ready for it. And it'll be there for you. And it's quite normal. All right? Lastly is the concept of when you're up against it and you don't want to act and you're laying in bed and it's raining and it's not nice out and you can't seem to be motivated, you just don't know if you want to do it anymore, is, as Nietzsche said, if there's a strong enough why, the how is easy. Write down, why are you doing this? And most of the time what you have to realize is you're doing it because you're worth it. Because your contribution is worth it. Your contribution to what will one day be your family, your contribution to who is your family now, your contribution to yourself, so that you can go to bed at night knowing I'm a man of integrity. I'm a man that is deciding and making opportunities happen in my life. That is really the strength, right? Success is nothing more than setting personal goals and achieving them. Happiness is having enough confidence in yourself to enjoy the ride. Write down why you're doing what you're doing. So those days when you don't want to get out of bed, you'll be able to see, this is why I'm getting out of bed. This is why I'm doing a little bit extra. So just as a referral, going back, you're all blessed. You're all wealthy. It's right in front of you. You're standing in acres of diamonds. You can make any choice. You can go anywhere you want. Review where you were. Write it down, think on paper. This is where I've got, this is where I am. This is where I want to go. Realize you make your own choices. Realize there's nothing you can't understand. There's nothing you can't learn. It's all there for you, right on the internet if you want it. Right there. Get out of bed, fight for it. Fight day and night for it, as they say. Right? And realize only quality people. Guard your mind. It's about you. It's yours. You own it. You get it. You have the choice. You have the power. And then act on it. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about what others think. Other people's opinion is no business of yours. None. None. Get out of the comparison-based relationship. By that I mean, if you're judging yourself on other people, then one day you'll walk into the room and you'll feel great because you'll be richer than them, or you feel you'll be smarter than them, or stronger than them, or faster than them. But one day you'll walk into the room then and you will not be as rich. You'll feel you're not as good. You'll feel you're not as fast. You'll feel you're not as strong. Get out of a comparison-based relationship with other people. As good as the best, no better than the rest. That's what you want to think. I'm as good as the best, no better than the rest. I look people in the eye, and I'll say this. I had quite a few guys look me in the eye and introduce themselves to me. That's awesome. That's the beginning of it. That's awesome. And then realize that there's nothing you can't do, and it's yours. It's all possible for you. It's all possible for you. Don't ever let anyone tell you anything different. If they're telling you that, it's because they're jealous, they're afraid, they don't know the message. You can't educate them. All you can do is shake their hand, thank you very much, and move on. I really appreciate your time. Oh, one thing I have to say. I said to you in the beginning that I would prove to you that this works. I will prove it. And I told Larry this. I write down my goals. You can see this, right? Right? There's data right there. Right? 9/14/2015. Right here's the top one. I'll travel the world speaking on topics of personal development, health, right, coaching, and human potential in 2017. I missed it by a year. Men, I've done this with many things. And it's not like I invented it. Many people have done this all through time. All through time. Write it down, think it through, focus on it, make it happen. You can do it. I did it. You can do it. Whatever it is you want, it's theirs for you. It's right there for the taking. You get like this, right? Where you can get your idea and you get to where you can hold it in your hand and visualize it and focus on it. It's yours. I'll bring one more example, a sports example. Tiger Woods. The great Tiger Woods. Now, every time he hits a golf shot, and we don't see it, but all the pros do it, because they don't show you this on TV. This is the ball. There's the green. Tiger Woods stands like this, like every pro does. He looks at the green. He looks at the ball. He looks at the green. One moment of silence. He visualizes the perfect shot of the ball going up onto the green. He walks around. He hits the shot. It's on the green. If it doesn't go on the green, he immediately says, and I've seen an interview, he immediately says, Tiger Woods, that's not you. You always hit the ball on the green. Because he doesn't let that seep into his mind at all. Now, that was when he was just really good. But now think when he was hurt. Think when he was hurt. Did he sit around thinking, I'm hurt? Or did he sit around thinking, one day, I'm going to be back. I am going to be back one day. I'm going to focus it. And he said in the beginning, he just wanted to walk again. But then when he could walk, he went to the next level. And he could see a higher goal, and a higher goal, and a higher goal.